Hello you lovely people and welcome. In this video I will be doing a demo with the Replicas Seafire Mk.III with interactions with aircraft carriers, i.e. catapult launching and recovering via arrestor hook. So let's get on the deck. So as you can see, I've started on the USS Lexington. Now, bearing in mind this aircraft is supposed to be in a fully hot start, you know, ready to roll kind of situation, there are a few things that aren't right. Even though we are on the end of the runway, ready to go, there are some things that are not switched on. So we're just going to go around and check those. First thing is going to be canopy open. The door in escape latch mode. Wings folded because we are on the deck of a carrier. Okay, now admittedly when fully started the wings would be down, but as we're on the carrier at the moment, I'm going to fold them up. And now if we jump outside, you'll see even though we're started we don't have a pilot. So we're going to go back in and we're going to click on pilot on board no, change that to yes. So we jump outside again, you can see we now have a pilot in the cockpit ready to go. Next biggie is we are on the deck on the ground. The radiator temperature is dangerously close to 100 degrees, so we need to open the radiator flap, let that air flow and cool that down. So that's sorted. Zeroing out the altimeter, admittedly this is going to be I guess would be above ground level, so 0 AGL and not 0 mean sea level MSL. We could set it to that, but I don't know how high we are above the sea. Okay, let's make sure that I'm not missing anything else out. Switch to not camera. There's a pitot master switch under there, but it's very hard to get to. So we're going to switch that on. Excuse my head being outside the cockpit there. Okay, and we're going to switch on the oxygen. Okay, so fuel, check the lower tank, that's good. Radiator temperature is good, oil temp is good. Right, now we're going to manoeuvre down the deck a little way, and we are going to just be a little bit closer to the end of the deck. We don't want to be shooting from this far down deck. Okay, to do that I'm just going to use the outside view quickly, take the parking brake off, and we're just going to get central because we're not central. Apply the brakes. Okay, we can probably boost from here. Okay, so back into the cockpit. Set the parking brake. This is a must do, so make sure the lever is to the right, gauge needles are up. Now I'm going to introduce a third party software by touching cloud called Kinetic Assistant. That way we can get a catapult launch. I don't think this would need a catapult launch. You would use the whole deck to run down. I can't remember if Seafires use catapult launch or not. I don't think that may have been a thing back then, but I'm wrong. I don't know much about Royal Naval stuff. So I'm going to bring in Kinetic Assistant. My screen's going to go a little bit funny. There we go. So as you can see, we're not connected yet, but this is used for racing events. Glider winch, glider tow, goes free play, catapult, which is the one we're going to use. Also for arrestor landings, hotspots, NMEA, and there's a settings tab. So we're going to go to catapult. We're going to set our speed for about 110 knots, and then we're going to connect. Now the parking brake is engaged. This will be just like any other catapult launch that you may be used to, where you throttle up and just release parking brake, and it will shoot. So what we're going to do is going to lower the wings. Okay, we're going to do one last check of the cockpit because I just want to make it 100% sure that we're ready to go. Now we do have pegs, simulated pegs in the flaps for 18 degrees down. What the actual procedure would be, the flap lever would actually be up, the pegs would be wedged as the flaps came up ready for takeoff. You shoot down the runway. Once you're off the deck, you'd load the flaps, pegs would drop out, and then you'd raise the flaps again, which I think is a bit iffy, but okay. What we're going to do is we're just going to throttle up slightly, don't too much power because the flaps are down, you'll end up blowing the Seafire over onto its nose. Okay, and parking brake off. Now believe it or not, I've actually done that without kinetic assistant because I forgot to click ready to launch. Gear up, flaps down, release the pegs, and flaps up. We can now close our door, if I can find the sweet spot, which is really starting to annoy me. Okay, and close the canopy, and we can be on our merry way. And now we can shut the radiator flaps. Okay, so that is a deck launch in the Seafire Mk.III without the kinetic assistant. Managed to actually get off the deck without it, but I will quickly show one now of the deck assistant actually being used. Okay, this is with the kinetic assistant, so I've done all the checks in the cockpit. So if we jump outside, you can see we've got the pilot in, we've got 18 degrees of flap, we've got the escape door ready, and we've got the canopy open. All we need to do now is make sure that the parking brake is on. So, welcoming back the kinetic assistant, I'm going to connect it, go to Catapult, and go put on our handbrake, click ready to launch. So we've got 110 knots is our launch speed to be achieved. So again, going to throttle up just until the nose starts to dip slightly. Parking brake off, and Catapult is doing its job, and now we are up. Okay, and clean up, flaps up, and we can close the door, close the canopy. Okay, get trimmed up and be on our merry way. Right, okay, so we're going to make an approach into or onto the USS Lexington, and going to make a run down the right hand side of the ship, brake into the circuit, and then touch down onto the deck. Now we will need the kinetic assistant for this because the hook is not simulated for catching the wires at the moment. Hopefully that will change later down the road. It would be nice. Okay, so yeah, we're just going to run down the right hand side of the ship. 1, 2, 3, brake. Okay, we're just going to slow the aircraft down so we can get the flaps down. Got the gear horn going off there. And what we're going to do, which I should have done in the first place, was drop the tail hook and go outside. You can see we've got the hook down now. We can drop the gear. Lexington's just over there, and we're going to get the flaps down, get ourselves ready to hit the deck. Now, before we do that, I'm going to get dangerously slow here. I'm going to bring over the kinetic assistant. It's connected at the moment, so I'm going to go over to the rester and expected full time stop in seconds, so 3 seconds to full stop from hitting the deck, and we're going to simulate the hook that is down. Pretty much the hook on the actual Seafire is aesthetic. It's not actually functional. So we're going to get canopy open, and we're going to open the door to our notch here, and we're going to make our approach. Okay, we've extended the downwind a bit too far for my liking, to be honest, but I have been talking and trying to explain things, so I will forgive myself for that. Let's bring the prop pitch back a bit. Just crabbing it in so I can see what I'm doing. Let's foot them back. Okay, that was a messy landing. That was absolutely way off. It's terrible. But that is how you do it with kinetic assistant. Thank God it stopped when it did, and I didn't hit the devastator there. Otherwise it would have been devastating. Yeah, boo at my jokes if you like. And we can raise the hook, and we can fold the wings, and we can taxi our way to the parking. Jump outside so I can see what I'm doing. Put the flaps up, that would help as well. Okay, parking brake is on. Jump back in. Okay, now we can start shutting things down. So nav lights off, and we can now let the engine idle for a second, and then we will pull the mixture ring. Okay. Flaps can be closed. Okay, and we're just going to pull on the mixture ring, let the engine conk out. Okay, and now we can switch other things off, like the fuel tanks, magnetos. All the levers are back there. We can turn off that, and pitot off. Switch off the oxygen, and switch off the battery. Now we can alight the aircraft and go get a nice strong cup of coffee. Okay, so that's Catapult. Oh no, no, I'm not going to say Catapult because I didn't Catapult originally, but that's deck takeoff and arrest landing using and not using the kinetic assistant by touching cloud. So if you've got this far, thank you much for watching, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.